Good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. I'm here solo this morning and want to talk about a number of things that I think are relevant to our city. And the first thing I want to talk about is leadership. Yesterday I attended the swearing-in ceremony for the chairman of the Walker County Commission and the commissioners, and the most enjoyable gathering. I had a chance to speak to Congressman Robert Aderholt, Senator Greg Reed, and Representative Rowe, and as they were all in attendance at the gathering. So at the conclusion of that event, what we have is the leadership of this community, and I'll say this county, is now seated. Every municipality, Jasper included, their mayor, their council members are seated, now the county commission, and so short of something drastic happening, the leadership that's in place today will be the leadership in place 4 years from now. Holding oneself out for public service is to be admired. Public service brings many, many challenges, but it comes with the territory. You understand that before you get in it. But what I would encourage you to do, we do not live on an island here in Jasper. We live in this county, and if you see members of the county commission, the chairman, if you were to see the mayor of Dora or Cordova, Summerton, and then if you have a chance, offer a word of encouragement. Thank them for their service and encourage them to give it their best, because I really believe through our collective efforts that we can move this community in the right direction. I'm totally convinced that we can do that. What's going on in our area? I read extensively, and most people don't have a reason to understand this, whatever, but the value of our proximity to Birmingham and this I-22, when I was in the banking business, what our retail lenders would tell me is that probably 60% of the folks that they loan money to commuted to somewhere in Jefferson County to work. Well, there's tremendous opportunities for work in Jefferson County, and those opportunities are growing by leaps and bounds. You may have read, but it was announced earlier in the week, Lowe's, the big home improvement supplier, much like Home Depot, has just announced that they're going to build a 1,200,000 square foot warehouse facility to supply stores over a pretty big footprint in the southeastern United States. How big is 1,200,000 square feet? That equates to about 28 acres under roof. That is huge. It's going to take a lot of people to run that operation, and you think about it, and they're not going to manufacture anything. It's take product in, distribute it to their stores. It would not be unreasonable to believe that you may see suppliers locating closer to that warehouse, and certainly we're close to that warehouse. It could bring development opportunities for our city, but also the job opportunities it'll bring in. And I've said this many, many times, a person working in Jefferson County, it doesn't disturb me at all. I like for them to own their house and spend their money in Jasper. If they do that, then that's a positive for our economy. On top of that, Buffalo Rock, huge soft drink distributor. Under their umbrella, they have Pepsi. They just announced that they're making a $79 million expansion. Clearly, that'll bring about more jobs. Some folks from Walker County will get some of those jobs. Century Plaza has just been acquired and is being taken down at this point, tied to the Amazon development. Brookwood Village, things happening there. So a lot of good things happening in Birmingham, and that'll spend value out to our city. What do I know here over the last, going back a year, I've been involved in the prospects of locating a major retail company in our city. Today, we're very optimistic that that will become a reality. We're hopeful that that could be announced before the end of this month. Over the last few days, I have been involved with an industrial prospect that looks very promising. What I would say, none of those things are real until they're real, and so I wouldn't tell you we have them, but where I've been over the years, I'm highly optimistic that we could make a major announcement both for the retail and the industrial prospect. That will bring jobs, it will bring additional sales tax revenue, which will allow us to do even more things in our city. Back on the leadership at the county, when I came to this office, there was a line drawn in the sand between the county and the city. I can tell you that line has been erased. Had a great relationship with Chairman Bishop. We never had any conflict. Chairman Miller, I worked with him in the banking business for many, many years. As I handled the banking business for his company. Chairman Miller and I spoke last evening about how we can work together and try to identify things to make this community better. So a harmonious relationship has more value than you can start to imagine, and we'll have that with county government. Now, the operation of our city, we have just closed the books on fiscal year 2020 that ended September 30th. It takes a little time to get all the bills paid, not that we're delinquent on our bills, just waiting for those things to come in so we can know exactly where we're at in our operation. We know those numbers today, and I will not disclose those numbers publicly as our council has not seen the numbers. They will be provided to council tomorrow, and then we'll do a more detailed presentation in the council meeting on Tuesday. What I can tell you, it is proven to be our best year yet. Our reserves ratcheted up again to an all-time high in the city. That enables us to do things. It enables us to weather financial storms or challenges that may come our way, and that's an enviable position to be in municipal government, because there's so many municipalities that do not have the reserves that they can weather the storm. They have to live their life in a state of anxiety. We don't have to do that in Jasper, and I'm pleased with that. And as long as I'm mayor, I'm going to do everything in my power to see that we're never in a situation like that. The last thing I want to mention is COVID. If you read the news, COVID is raging. I think 1,400 deaths across the country yesterday, and so many naysayers about masks and constitutionality and all of that stuff. But a dead person does not have constitutional rights, I can tell you that. And it appears that President-elect Biden is going to take a hard line on this. I read this morning that he's just appointed as his chief of staff, a gentleman that headed up the Ebola task force. Maybe you remember Ebola from a few years back, that it didn't prove to be as big a thing as they thought it might be. But the news writers believe that that President-elect Biden is preparing to take a hard stance on what we do and trying to challenge the pandemic. And clearly, if we get a mandate out of the highest office in the land, that being the President of the United States, I expect it'll probably have claws and teeth. And I continue to remind you, some of the naysayers that come here have talked about constitutionality, and it seems strange to me when you have judges at elevated levels that have ruled on cases that would indicate it is constitutional. But all elected officials, the folks that were sworn in yesterday, are sworn to uphold the law of the land. And so I say that doing those things that have been rolled out to us to try to stymie the spread of COVID. We ought not be forced to do it, that sort of thing. But I get a sense that we're probably headed to a time where we're going to have some mandates that will require us to do things that we prefer not to do. So I encourage you to wear your mask, do those other things to, again, try to stymie the spread of COVID. Again, it's the right thing to do. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our fellow citizens to do those things. If we do that, then we can, I think, make progress. The talk now of a vaccine, but they say the pandemic is of such size that it's going to take considerable time, even with a vaccine, to reverse course in the pandemic. So there's plenty of opportunities that I believe that lie ahead for our city, but it's important to remember you can't get to the opportunities without first knocking over the challenges, and that's what makes the job in public sector difficult. That's what causes a lot of people in the public sector not to be successful, because they're not willing to do the thing it takes to knock over the challenges. You can't be timid, you can't be meek. You do what's right, you manage for the common good. That's my philosophy, and that'll never change as long as I'm in public office. So think about the great opportunities we have. Support your leadership across this community, and let's continue to move in the right direction and make our community better. If we do that, then we've done what we're supposed to do. Pleased to have you with us today, and again, I welcome your questions. I see some things on Facebook that it's kind of interesting that people will not put their name with those questions and send them here where we can answer them. But if you'll put your name with it, send us a question, then if it's not written with a poison pen, you'll get an answer. Please know we welcome your questions, your phone calls, and so glad to have you with us. And probably next week, or certainly the next week, we will devote the program to sharing with you the operating results of this city. Again, thank you for being with us. We'll look forward to being with you next week.